Ladies and gentlemen, before we speak about architecture, before we discuss design trends or spatial layouts, I invite you to reflect on something far more fundamental: the meaning of home. A home is not merely a structure. It is not defined by square footage, by the number of rooms, or by the materials used to build it. A home is a living, breathing environment. It is where our earliest memories are formed, where our identities take shape, and where the most important relationships in our lives are nurtured. Think about it. It is in our homes that we celebrate our victories, big and small. It is where we retreat after long days, seeking comfort and peace. It is where we gather with loved ones, share meals, tell stories, and create traditions that often last for generations. And yet, despite its importance, we rarely stop to question how the design of our homes influences the quality of our lives. We carefully choose our careers. We invest time in our relationships. We plan for our futures. But how often do we ask ourselves, is the space I live in truly supporting the life I want to live? Because the truth is this: space is not neutral. The way a home is designed can either encourage connection or create distance. It can foster warmth or reinforce isolation. It can invite interaction or quietly discourage it. Walls, doors, and layouts are not just physical elements. They shape behavior. They influence communication. They determine whether we pass by each other or truly engage with one another. In today's world, especially here in America, where life moves fast, where schedules are packed, and where digital screens often replace face-to-face interaction, the role of the home has never been more critical. We are more connected than ever through technology, yet many people feel increasingly disconnected in their daily lives. Families sit in separate rooms. Conversations are shortened. Moments of togetherness become rare and sometimes even accidental. So the question we must ask ourselves is not just how we live, but where and in what kind of space we live. Because if our homes are the foundation of our lives, then their design must align with our deepest human need: connection. And this brings us to the heart of today's discussion: open concept living spaces. At first glance, it may seem like a simple architectural choice: removing walls, creating larger rooms, allowing light to travel more freely. But as we will discover together, it is far more than that. It is a response to the way modern life has evolved. It is a reflection of changing values. And most importantly, it is an opportunity to reshape not just our homes, but the way we experience life within them. Tonight, we will explore how open concept living is redefining the American home, not only as a place to live, but as a place to connect, to grow, and to truly belong. I want you to take a moment and picture your home. Not just the walls and the furniture, but the feeling of it. The sounds, the light, the way people move through it. Think about where conversations happen, where laughter echoes, where silence settles. Now ask yourself this: does your home bring you closer together, or does it quietly pull you apart? Today, we're here to talk about something that may seem purely architectural at first glance: open concept living spaces. But as we look deeper, we will discover that this is not just a design trend. It is a reflection of how we live, how we connect, and ultimately, who we are. The evolution of the American home. To understand open concept living, we must first understand where we came from. For generations, American homes were built with separation in mind. The kitchen was closed off, the dining room was formal, the living room was reserved. Each space had a defined purpose, and often a door to enforce it. This design mirrored the lifestyle of the time. Roles were clearly defined. Privacy was prioritized. Function followed tradition. But as society evolved, so did our needs. Families became more dynamic. Work became more flexible. Technology erased boundaries. And suddenly, those walls that once made sense began to feel restrictive, not just physically, but emotionally. We didn't just want houses anymore. We wanted homes that reflected connection. What is open concept living? At its core, open concept living removes the barriers, literally. It merges spaces like the kitchen, dining room, and living room into a single unified area. It replaces isolation with flow. It transforms rooms into experiences. But more importantly, it transforms how people interact. Imagine cooking dinner while talking to your children, doing homework at the table. Imagine hosting friends where no one is ever stuck in another room. Imagine sunlight traveling freely, touching every corner of your space. Open concept living is not just about knocking down walls, it's about opening up life. 3. The emotional architecture of space. We often underestimate how deeply our surroundings shape our behavior. Walls don't just divide rooms, they divide moments. In a closed layout, life happens in fragments. Conversations are interrupted, interactions are limited, presence becomes partial. But in an open space, something remarkable happens. Visibility increases, communication flows naturally. People feel more connected simply because they see and hear each other more often. This is what I call emotional architecture. It's the invisible impact of design on human connection. An open concept home says, you belong together. Ivy, the power of togetherness. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had a meaningful conversation with someone you love? Now think about where that conversation happened. Chances are it wasn't planned. It wasn't scheduled. It happened organically, in a shared space, in a moment of proximity. That's what open concept living encourages, unplanned connection. In today's fast-paced world, where screens compete for our attention and schedules pull us in different directions, these spontaneous moments are more valuable than ever. Open spaces create opportunities for shared experiences, continuous interaction, stronger family bonds. They remind us that togetherness doesn't require effort. It requires space. V. Light, air, and freedom. Beyond emotional connection, open concept design transforms the physical environment. Natural light flows more freely. Air circulates more efficiently. The space feels larger, even if the square footage remains the same. There's a psychological effect here. Light uplifts mood. Open space reduces stress. Freedom of movement creates a sense of ease. In a world where anxiety and overwhelm are increasingly common, our homes should not contribute to the problem. They should be our sanctuary. Open concept living invites calm, clarity, and comfort. Flexibility for modern living. We are living in an era of constant change. Work from home, hybrid schedules, side hustles, remote learning. The traditional, rigid layout of homes no longer fits the fluid nature of modern life. Open concept spaces adapt. Your dining table becomes an office in the morning, a classroom in the afternoon, a gathering place in the evening. Your living room becomes a workspace, a gym, a theater, a sanctuary. This flexibility is not just convenient, it's essential. It empowers us to design our lives, not just live within design. SIP, entertaining without barriers. For many Americans, the home is also a place of hospitality. We celebrate birthdays, holidays, milestones. We gather to share meals, stories, and laughter. In a traditional layout, the host is often separated, preparing food in the kitchen while guests socialize elsewhere. But in an open concept home, the host becomes part of the experience. Cooking becomes a shared activity. Conversations flow uninterrupted. Everyone is included. There is no backstage. Life happens together in one continuous connected space. The criticism. Are we losing privacy? Now let's address the other side of the conversation. Open concept living is not without its critics. Some argue that it sacrifices privacy, that it increases noise, that it removes the ability to retreat. And these concerns are valid. But the answer is not to abandon open design. It is to balance it. Modern homes can incorporate quiet corners, flexible partitions, multi-purpose rooms, acoustic design elements. The goal is not to eliminate privacy, but to redefine it. Privacy should be intentional, not imposed by walls. Designing with purpose. An open concept space is not simply an empty room. It requires thoughtful design. Furniture placement defines zones. Lighting creates ambiance. Materials add texture and warmth. Without intention, openness can feel chaotic. But with purpose, it becomes harmonious. Design is storytelling. And in an open concept home, every element contributes to the narrative of connection. The cultural shift. What we are witnessing is more than a design trend. It is a cultural shift. We are moving from isolation to interaction, from compartmentalization to integration, from separation to unity. Open concept living reflects a deeper desire in society to be seen, to be heard, to be together. In a time where division often dominates headlines, our homes can become places of unity, and that matters more than we realize. Sustainability and efficiency. Open spaces can also contribute to more sustainable living. Fewer walls mean better natural lighting, reduced need for artificial illumination, improved airflow, more efficient heating and cooling. When designed thoughtfully, open concept homes can reduce energy consumption and environmental impact. In this way, openness is not just good for people, it's good for the planet. Tom, the future of home design. As we look ahead, one thing is clear. The way we live will continue to evolve, and our homes must evolve with us. Open concept living is not the final destination. It is a step forward. Future homes may integrate smart technology seamlessly, adaptive spaces that transform instantly, biophilic design connecting us with nature. But at the heart of it all, one principle will remain. Connection, a personal reflection. Let me share something simple, yet powerful. Imagine a child doing homework at the kitchen table while a parent prepares dinner nearby. They talk, they laugh, they share stories about their day, nothing extraordinary, and yet everything meaningful. Now imagine that same moment, separated by walls. The connection is weaker, the opportunity is smaller. Design shapes these moments, and these moments shape our lives. 14. Bringing it all together. So what is open concept living really? It is a design philosophy, a lifestyle choice, a reflection of modern values. It is about more than space. It is about how we experience space together. XV, final thoughts. As we conclude, I want to return to the question I asked at the beginning. Does your home bring you closer together? Because at the end of the day, that is what truly matters. Not the square footage, not the style, not the trends, but the connection. Open concept living is not about removing walls. It's about removing barriers to communication, to togetherness, to life itself. So whether you are designing a new home, renovating an old one, or simply rethinking how you use your space, remember this: your home is not just where you live. It is where your life unfolds. Make it open, make it connected, make it meaningful. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this journey, I would like you to return, once again, to that simple but powerful image we began with. Your home. Not as it is on paper, not as it appears in photographs, but as it feels when you live in it. The quiet mornings, the busy afternoons, the laughter-filled evenings, the moments of solitude, the moments of togetherness. Because ultimately, a home is not measured by its design alone, but by the life that unfolds within it. Throughout this discussion, we have explored the concept of open living spaces, not just as an architectural trend, but as a reflection of something deeper. We have seen how removing walls can do more than expand a room. It can expand relationship, how allowing light to flow freely can do more than brighten a space. It can uplift the human spirit, how creating openness can do more than improve aesthetics. It can transform the way we connect with one another. But let us be clear about something. Open concept living is not a universal solution. It is not about blindly following trends or replicating what we see in magazines or on television. It is about intentional living. It is about asking ourselves difficult but necessary questions. How do we want to interact with the people we love? How do we want to spend our time at home? What kind of environment supports our well-being, our growth, and our happiness? Because at its core, design is not about spaces. It is about people. And the most successful homes are not the ones that look the best. They are the ones that feel the best, the ones that invite conversation, the ones that encourage presence, the ones that make people feel seen, heard, and valued. As we move forward into an ever-changing world, one shaped by technology, by new ways of working, and by evolving lifestyles, our homes must remain constant in one essential way. They must serve as places of connection. Places where barriers are not just physically removed, but emotionally reduced. Places where families can come together naturally without effort or obstruction. Places where life is shared, not separated. So whether you embrace open concept living fully, adapt elements of it, or simply rethink how your current space is used, remember this: you have the power to shape your environment, and in doing so, you shape your experiences, your relationships, and your life. Do not underestimate that power, because in the end, it is not the walls we build that define us. It is the connections we create within them or without them. Your home is more than a place. It is a reflection of your values, a stage for your memories, a foundation for your future. So build it with intention, shape it with purpose, and above all, fill it with connection. Thank you.